All right, so this recording kind of walks through the key-in programs in your Moodle site that are the plugin program, which I have right here. The plugin program asks the user for a number to plug into this equation, calculates the value, and then prints it out. So you can see that I've written this plugin, which is a normal program that you're used to, and then I wrote plugin method, which is the same exact program, only using methods. So I'm going to walk you through how I did that. So let's start out by looking at my scrum. So you'll notice that I have the big idea here. And when I break that down into parts, I have input, I have some calculations and some output. Really, there's just one thing for input, and that's asking the user for the value of x. And then the calculations are just plugging that value for x in, multiplying by 2 and adding 7, and then printing out the output. So you see in my program, I've declared some variables. I have 3 variables in this program. The string input so that I can read in something from the keyboard. A double, which is the actual x value. And then another double, which is the f value or the y value. So I ask for the f value, x value. And then I do a little try-catch just to make sure they actually entered a number. I plug in the x value, multiply it by 2, add 7, and that's how I get the y value, or the f value in this case. And then I print it out. It's a pretty straightforward program. So how does it differ when I use methods? So here's my main section now. Now I only have 2 variables, x and y. I have a call to a function called welcome. So when my program first runs or when JGrass compiles this, first thing it looks at is this line of code for the main section. It says, okay, I got 2 variables, they're x and y. Now I'm supposed to find the welcome. So it'll go up here and it'll find welcome. Here's the welcome method. All welcome does is prints out a message, welcome to my function solver. When it's done printing that message, it'll come back down here and it'll go to the next line. Now x, that's my variable x, equals a call to this function called, or this method called getX that takes no parameters. So getX with no parameters is going to run up here. It's going to look for a method called getX. Here it is. Now I see getX is a method that takes no parameters, but does return a double. So at the very end of this method, I better have a return statement that returns a double value. Now that double value is going to get returned to main. So what this is going to do, it's going to run through this snippet of code. It's going to ask the user to enter a value, and here I put a little while loop around it so that if they don't enter it properly, it'll keep asking again and again. But otherwise, it's the same as what it was before. I do a try-catch, and I'm just saying, making sure it's a number that they're entering. And as soon as they enter a number, I'm going to return that number. So up here, it's called num2return. But when I go back down to main, this becomes num2return and gets placed into my x variable. So now that's whatever they entered. X is whatever they entered. So my program moved to the next line of code, which says now f of x. My computer understands that that means find a function named f, take whatever number that they just entered here up with you. So f is like the name of the function, and x is the value it's taking with it. So we go up, we look for a function called f. Here it is. We took x with us. It gets renamed a. And now it goes and does a calculation and returns the value of that calculation. When it returns it down here, that double is now returned, and it gets placed into Y. My very last line in main is just to print out when you plug x into the equation this, you get that. Same exact, only now my main is much more concise, and I can reuse any of those snippets of code anytime I want. Hopefully this will help you with methods. Sorry if that was a bit long. You can fast forward and skip things if you want, but that's it.